Ever feel like your own mind is kind of like a mystery? All those thoughts and reactions you can't explain. Like, what if we treated those like clues?
Ooh, I like where you're going with this.
What if we could become our own intelligence agency for our inner world? That's what we're diving into today.
I'm ready to be briefed.
The mission file is Counterintelligence of the Soul, and it's got some wild ideas about how we transform. It's like, imagine treating your whole life, all your experiences as big data.
Okay, hold on. Big data, like what Google uses to target ads.
Exactly. But instead of selling you stuff, it's about understanding you.
I'm intrigued, but also a little creeped out. How does this whole thing work?
Think about it. Every memory you have, every relationship, even those weird gut feelings, those are all data points. And just like companies use data to figure out what makes us tick.
We can use it to figure ourselves out. I'm starting to see it.
So let's say I buy into this whole I'm a walking data mine thing.
Mm.
What kind of information am I sitting on, and how do I even start to make sense of it all?
Well, first, you got to wrap your head around the sheer volume of it. We're talking childhood memories, relationships, heartbreaks, every belief you've ever picked up.
Whoa, whoa. Information overload.
That's just it. It is overwhelming, which is where the book's concept of the 5 V's of big data comes in.
5 V's. Okay, now you're just messing with me.
No, seriously. Volume, velocity, variety, veracity, and value. These are the key to unlocking the secrets hidden in your personal data.
All right, I'll bite. Velocity. What's that about?
Ever get slammed with a wave of anxiety seemingly out of nowhere? Heart racing, mind spiraling. That's velocity, the sheer speed that thoughts and emotions can take over.
Oh, tell me about it. 1 minute you're fine, the next you're convinced the world's ending.
Exactly. It can be a wild ride. And it's not just big emotions either. It's how fast your mood can change from a text, a social media post, even just a random thought popping up.
Our minds are kind of like those stock tickers that scroll across the bottom of the screen, always moving, always changing.
And just as chaotic sometimes.
Yeah.
But that chaos is also data. And just being aware of that speed, that's a form of counterintelligence.
So we're basically training ourselves to be more observant of our own minds.
Precisely. The more aware we become of that inner velocity, the more we can start to see the triggers that set it off.
Like maybe a certain word or phrase always throws you into a spiral.
Yes. Or a particular place or person just drains you. That's valuable intel about yourself. It's like, you know how online stores suggest things you might like based on your browsing history?
Oh yeah, those you might also like things. Always kind of spooky how accurate they are.
It's all algorithms, right? Well, our subconscious minds are doing the same thing. They're always collecting data, making connections.
Scary, but also kind of cool. So by paying attention, we can actually influence those algorithms.
You're getting it. And this brings us to another big V, veracity. All those beliefs and assumptions we've accumulated over the years, time to put them to the test.
You mean all those truths we have about ourselves and the world that we don't even question?
Exactly. Just because we believe something doesn't make it true. We could be carrying around outdated information, limiting beliefs from childhood, you name it.
You're talking about those tapes that play in our heads, right?
Yeah.
I'm not good enough, I'll never be successful, those kind of things.
Bingo. Those are data points that deserve a serious veracity check. Are they really true? Or are they just old, outdated software running in the background?
This is where it starts to feel like more than just, self-help fluff. It's challenging the very foundation of how we see ourselves.
It absolutely is. It's about becoming our own fact checkers. And that takes guts, because sometimes those truths, even if they're untrue, can be scary to let go of.
It's like we're really getting under the hood, But what about the stuff we pick up from outside? Not just our own baggage. This whole in-between thing from the book, that's where things get kind of spooky.
Yeah, the in-between, it's not always an easy concept to grasp. Think of it like a subtle energy field beyond our normal senses.
Okay, so not exactly ghosts and goblins, but not that either.
Exactly. It's like, imagine you're a lighthouse, right? Projecting your energy out into the world.
I can kind of picture it.
The brighter your light, the more authentic you are, the more you own yourself, the more you draw attention from this in-between space, both good and bad.
So the more we work on ourselves, the bigger a target we become. That's kind of intimidating.
It's not about shrinking yourself, though. It's about building resilience. Like, a lighthouse needs a strong structure to withstand storms.
So how do we build that inner strength? Where do we even begin?
It starts with recognizing what the book calls nodes of vulnerability, unhealed trauma, limiting beliefs. Those are like weak points in your system.
And those weak points, that's where the negative stuff can sneak in.
Exactly. Think about a time you felt totally drained after being around someone. or a situation that sent you spiraling way out of proportion to what was actually happening.
Yeah, been there. So those are clues, like little red flags that something deeper is going on.
Precisely, those overreactions. That's your cue to do some inner investigation, figure out what's really driving that reaction.
It's like we become detectives of our own minds. But here's the thing. How do we know the difference between genuine intuition and just picking up negativity from around us?
That is the question, isn't it? The book talks about staying connected to your true north, like that inner compass that always points you in the right direction.
I love that. But the world's a noisy place. How do we stay tuned into that inner voice when there's so much static coming from everywhere else? So how do we strengthen that connection to our true north, especially when it feels like we're bombarded with so much external input from the news, social media, even well-meaning friends and family?
It's tough, right? Like trying to hear a whisper at a rock concert.
Exactly. So how do we turn down the volume on all that outside noise?
It starts with being really picky about what you let into your energy field, just like you choose what food you eat, what information you consume.
Wait, you're saying we can choose what energies we let in? Like we have that much control?
I know it sounds kind of out there, but think about it. You ever notice how being around certain people just leaves you feeling drained
Mm.
while others energize you?
Yeah, totally. Some people are like emotional vampires. But what about the situations we can't control? Like a stressful job or a tough family dynamic?
That's where the real inner work comes in. Because it's not just about changing the outside, it's about changing how we respond on the inside.
Easier said than done.
Totally. But here's the thing. The book talks about how we often end up feeding the very systems that are causing us pain
Wait, what? How do we do that?
by giving them our energy through our anger, our frustration, our resistance.
So like the more we fight against something, the stronger it gets? That's messed up.
It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline, right?
Okay.
But here's the good news. When we shift that focus inward, when we choose to invest our energy in our own growth, something amazing happens.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more. What happens? Do we suddenly develop superpowers?
Maybe not superpowers, but, it's about changing the frequency you're putting out into the world.
Whoa, okay. Getting a little woo-woo here.
Yeah.
But I think I understand. It's like we become a different kind of energy source.
Exactly. And that's where this light, love, unity thing comes in. It's not just some hippy-dippy slogan. It's the natural result of personal transformation.
Okay, I got to be honest. That whole light, love, unity thing always sounded kind of vague to me. Like, what does it even mean?
It means as you heal your own darkness, as you cultivate self-love and compassion, those qualities, they start to radiate outward. You become a force for healing in your own life and in the world.
Wow, that's powerful. So it's not selfish to focus on our own growth. It actually helps others.
It's the opposite of selfish. And here's something else the book really drove home for me. It challenged me to consider that we all have both the devil and the God within us.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Devil and God.
Yeah.
Now we're getting really intense.
It's about recognizing that we have the capacity for both incredible darkness and incredible light, harm and healing.
And accepting both sides, right? Not just trying to be like perfect little angels all the time.
Exactly. It's about integration, bringing those seemingly opposite parts of ourselves together, because they both make us who we are.
Wow, this has been quite a journey. We've covered so much ground, from our inner data to the mysterious in-between and that tricky inner compass. So as we wrap up here, what's one thing you hope our listeners take away from this deep dive?
You are both the source of your suffering and the source of your liberation. It's a powerful reminder that we have everything we need within us to heal, to grow, to create a life that truly lights us up.
Such powerful words to end on. And, it really is a journey, isn't it? So much to explore, so much to discover about ourselves.
Absolutely.
A huge thank you to our expert for guiding us through this wild ride through the inner landscape. And to all of you listening, remember, the deep dive doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep trusting that inner compass. Until next time, keep diving deep.